Hello, everyone. Welcome to Financeology 101. Class is now in session. The information provided during this podcast is just that, information. You will need to do further research to address your specific situation. Enjoy the session. Welcome, everyone, to another session of Gifted Generations Presents Financeology 101. I'm one of your hosts, Robin Seegers, and the other host is.
Elroy Seegers.
Say your name again.
Elroy Seegers.
Sounds funny. Okay, so this week, first we want to do a quick recap. A couple weeks ago, we did a session on.
That was our last podcast. But a couple of weeks, but the last podcast, just to be clear.
The budget rule, the 50-30-20 budget rule. We said we were going to sit down and see what our actual percentages are. So Elroy's going to explain to you, first of all, what the 50-30-20 rule is, and then tell everyone where we are personally.
So the 50-30-20 rule, the idea is to divide your income into three categories: spending 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and the other 20% on savings. So do we follow this rule? We didn't. We don't. But I told Robin that we was going to figure out what rule do we actually fall in as far as our percentages. So when I did all the calculations as far as all the bills, it came up to 38% into our needs, which means our house, node, and stuff like that. So the things we have to have, electricity, water. So we're going to save 40%. And then the other 30% went to wants, and the other 30% went to savings. So we actually have 40-30-30 rule.
And that was one of the things we gave a homework assignment for everyone to look at their personal finances, their personal situation, and see where they are percentage wise as far as the 50-30-20 rule.
Right.
And that was a couple weeks ago. So go back and listen to that podcast and get more information. Also, if you look out on our Facebook page, there is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. I posted some additional information and news articles about that. So Go back and listen to that.
And actually, when you're talking about the 30% on wants and 30% on savings, that's interchangeable for us because we can go higher in savings. 1 month when we got a goal we're trying to reach, we're more aggressive. So that 30% becomes more like a 40% goal. You know what I'm saying? Versus, and then we make lower the wants to 10%. So we may be sometimes 40, 10, and then 50%.
So basically, you're saying that rule can be adjusted based on your needs that month.
Yeah. So the needs won't change because that's consistent.
Based on your situation
right.
for that.
The wants and the savings change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in other words, he's saying that it won't always stay static. Those numbers are dynamic, meaning they will change from month to month. So you have to. They always say assess your financial standing each month,
right?
Because things fluctuate.
Think about it this way: when it's talking about 30% of you want to spend 30% on your wants, and you want to save 20%. Don't that 30% on wants sound kind of high?
Yeah.
You see, and that's what I'm saying. So you might want to say, I'm a lower the percentage and do more savings towards now and in the future, like vacation, travel, and stuff like that. So that's why I said we don't follow that rule because we save more than we spend on wants.
Okay, so go back a couple weeks ago and check out that podcast and get more details, and then check out our Facebook page. So this session is step 5 of the financial journey. So we started. There's 6 steps in what we consider steps you need to take in your financial journey. So I'm gonna go back and do a quick synopsis of what we did. Steps 1 through 4. The first step we said is a financial assessment. We did that podcast on January 25th. So you assess where you are financially. You look at your relationship with money, how the environment you were raised in regarding money, how you with money right now, and then look at your financial situation. So go back and listen to that one, January 25th. Then the second step we said was setting realistic goals. That podcast was on February 22nd. Setting realistic goals, meaning don't set your goals so high that you can't reach it and then you just give up. So go back and listen to that, because you definitely have to set goals when you're trying to get your finances in order. The third step is identify your income and expenses. That was on March 15th. And that's self-explanatory. You write down all the income you have coming in, all your expenses that you have, which is all your needs down. I stress all because there's a lot of times we miss things. There can be some seasonal things that you have, bills you have. There can be some unexpected bills you have. So you have to really sit down, probably over a couple months, to write down all the expenses that you have. The next step 4 was understanding needs and wants, which was April 12th. That podcast was on April 12th. So this is suggestive, because what's a need for me may be a want for you, and what's a want for you may be a need for me. So only you can determine what is a need and want for you. But just be mindful, not try to make everything a need. In other words, there may be some things that you want, and then then you can convince yourself that you absolutely need it. So be careful with that and be real with that, because if you put everything as a need, then you're going to struggle with your financial planning, because everything that comes up is absolutely not a need. Sometimes you really have to sit down and think about what your needs and wants are. And it's different for each person. I can't tell you what your needs are. I can't tell you what the things that you want, the things that you need. Only you know that. So once you get down, do all of those steps. Now we're on step 5, which is creating your actual financial plan, i.e. your budget. So now you have all your information, your needs and your wants listed. Now write all this down. Don't try to do this all in your mind, because when you write it down and see it in your faces, it becomes real. So write down all your income, your expenses, what's a need, what's a want, categorize everything. Put things, this is in the utilities, meaning your electric bill, your water bill, your phone bill, then a grocery, entertainment, categorize everything. And then you can actually drop a plan that you can live with. Now, a lot of people think a budget is a bad word, but it's not. The budget is what you make it.
Yep.
If you like doing certain things, make sure it's in your budget. However, just make it that you're not doing it all the time. Like if you go out with your friends every Friday, put that in the plan. However, cut back. Say maybe this month I'm only going to go 3 times. And the following month I'm only going to go 2 times. You can still go, because I know that FOMO, fear of missing out, that's real.
Yeah, like you said, but you gotta be realistic, because within reason, if you're going out so much and you let another thing slide, as in your responsibilities, then you might want to reconsider a few things on top
right.
of it.
So
she's saying this in conjunction with your responsibilities of things that you have taken care of. You can't let the water bill go, the light bill go, just because you can go out. Well, you said we can go out every Friday. You said cut back to 3 times, not 4, meaning that you got to put your priorities first. Those needs got to come first. This is a want. So we want you to do better.
Right. And you have to be real with yourself with these needs and wants. Don't be tricking yourself and talking yourself into believing that
Trick or treat.
There are things that's needs and wants, and everything is a need.
Yeah. I need this, I need that.
That's not
Oh,
true.
you can definitely do that.
Yeah, we
So
can
what,
convince ourselves of practically anything.
so what's today's topic about? I know. I'm just asking the question.
Right.
I'm just asking the
I was going
question.
to say, what?
No, I'm asking the question so you can answer it. Let me ask you again. So what's today's topic about?
Creating your financial plan, your
Okay.
budget.
You budget execution. Right.
No, they're gonna have to create it first.
Oh, so I thought
So that's what
okay.
we
I mixed
create it
up
first.
then.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought we were talking about budget execution first.
Right. They don't have it.
That's my
plan
mistake
put-
then. I was on to executing that budget, y'all.
That's the next step.
Okay.
So you have to get the plan in place first.
You did say that. You did tell me planning it first, but I thought you said something different
Right.
earlier.
So that's where we are with this is just take all your information. And it may take you 2 to 3 months to actually come up with a plan. Because you have to sit down the first 30 days and pay attention to what
Collect
you're spending.
information.
Yep, collecting all the information. Or I always say get all your receipts, write everything down, where you spent your money, everything.
I know when it comes to budgeting, the most difficult thing to do is to start. Because we can chug along the way we're chugging along, feel like it ain't broke, why fix it? I'm doing good, but you're really not preparing for down the road for emergencies. You're not preparing down the road when you retire. You're not. And if you don't learn how to get that in check now, when it comes to that time, you're gonna be in worse shape. When you do have an emergency, it does pop up. So you want to try to get that under control while you can. And it doesn't matter what age you are.
Nope.
20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You can always start this plan because you still want to make sure you're able to live for the future. So like Robin said, you want to basically collect all those receipts your first 30 days. What I found out typically is that people tend to backslide like, I'm not going to do this month because I don't want that to be a part of my budget. And then when the budget is built, the next month they go back to doing the old habits. They're like, where did this come from? Well, yeah, I that was last month. I didn't do it last month. And I find out through every person I talk to. And it's amazing sometimes I'm talking to somebody for 2 months and then the third month, something pops up. I'll be like, where did this come from? Oh, I was paying for that on the side. It's not part of the budget. Yes, that's part of the budget. You've been paying for it. Yeah, but I don't want that to be part of the budget because I do that with this money, but it's part of the budget. So a lot of times you're hiding stuff from yourself and you're hurting the process.
Yes.
So to get a big picture, you got to bring everything into the fold. Part-time job, full-time job. Anything you make on a slide, you just want to bring all that money into the fold to get a better picture. So when someone say, "Hey, I got a birthday gift," how much you get? What you gonna do with it? You question yourself. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it, but as Pastor said, Dr. Chapman said, and who was talking about, do you take that check, your tax check, and you go out and blow it, or do you do something with it? You like, oh, I got a refund. Oh, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. $3,000, $2,000, $1,000 just gone in the split of the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So there's planning to do something with it. When you file your taxes, what you're going to get back. And typically, you normally know from year to year, oh, I paid $1,500 last year. So, I'm going to have to pay again this year. Oh, I got back $2,000 this year. I might get back the same next year. You can kind of almost gauge it, unofficially. So you always have a plan. Say, if I get taxes back, if I get this much, I want to do this with my taxes. I mean, is that so bad?
Mm-hmm. Have a plan.
Is that so bad? Or just saying, guess what, child? I got $1,500 back.
And that's not free money. A lot of people think, oh, that's free money because it ain't a part of my budget.
Yeah.
You should make it a part of your budget.
It becomes, yeah.
It should become a part of your budget because that's now income.
Because collecting it is simple. It's the next phase, executing that thing. It's still simple as long as you're able to put a plan in place. So the fun part is like, hey, I'm gonna live my life good for 30 days to see what it's gonna shake out. And then once it shakes out, you're able to put those things in the right category, gas receipts, how many times you went to all these stores, how much shopping you done, how many times you ate out. If you gave gifts away, that month, oh, well, that was my friend's birthday gift. So it won't be next month, but it's still part of giving.
Yeah.
So, you if you're going to give gifts, you're going to do it more than just once. So you might want to say, I'm going to save $10 a month for gifts or $20 a month for gifts. You limit it yourself because you can't give all your money away.
Right. Right.
You really got to pay yourself first.
And the truth hurts.
Oh
It hurts.
It's painful once you see the picture.
Yeah. When you sit down after that 30 days and see where you spent your money, it hurts. However, it's a good hurt because it's a hurt because you're trying to do better.
Trying to figure it out.
Right. Once you know better, you do better. And a lot of us don't want to know better.
Right.
So ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
I had a client, I kept saying, and I always tell people to journal too. When you start this here process, take out a journal and just write how you feel about things. And you'll be amazed at where you start in a year from now, 6 months from now, 3 months from now, your emotional connection to where you were to where you are right now. And you can reflect on those things. And I was like, hey, get your receipts? No, I forgot the receipts. I said, no problem. Did you swipe your card? Sure. Do me a favor. Go to all those things on your card, swipe those things out. You swiped out, print it out for me. Well, that takes a little bit more work, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So don't you think it's easier to get a receipt, put it in I tell people if you can't keep track of it, take a Ziploc bag. Mm-hmm. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Put it in your pocketbook, put it in your purse. That way you go buy something, boom, you throw it in a Ziploc bag. In your car. Mm-hmm. You just, keep it in your car, in your console. Mm-hmm. And then you at the end of the month, take it out your console, go in the house and start, dividing things up with what they're supposed to be. Now you got categories. You're going to have rent. That's not going to be receipt. Your car note's not going to be receipt. Your water bill, your light bill. So those things are like, can be a piece of paper. So you print it out or you write it down. We talking about stuff like your gas, eating out, getting your hair done, your nails done, going to the barbershop, hanging out with the boys for the evening. It's playoff time, right? We want to go somewhere and have a nice snack and spend $50-$60 on drinks and chips and wings. Next day, you're like, oh my gosh, I spent $60.
Yeah.
But if you allow that thing to happen, it's tracked. No problem. Mm-hmm. It's no problem.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's not a problem because at the end of that month, you're gonna be like, okay, I can't do that.
I'm saying it's no problem when you're doing it as far as being able to track it for the first month. Yeah,
right.
It only becomes a problem when you're saying I'm in the negative.
Right.
Then that going out is like got to stop immediately. Right. You got to find how you're gonna. You can't recoup that money. You can only again reallocate it for the next month. Right. I would say people, you can't get that money back. I might get it back. It's like a gambler's thing. You go out and say, I lost $100. I'm gonna get that money back. No, you just lost that money. You're gonna want to get $100. Well, you're still $100 behind because you lost that.
Right.
So you won't be getting that money back. Like you can't get back time. You ain't getting that money back either. The only thing you get back is money from the IRS. That's good. that's possible.
So when you track you have to track your household expenses.
Right.
So you can look on your bank statement or log into your online banking account and write down how, all those expenses. Mm-hmm. Then you need to also have the receipts of the things that you bought outside of your actual living expenses.
Right.
So you have two expenses that you're tracking: your living expenses, and then your extra stuff that you're spending money on. So you have to track all of that.
Yeah.
And then from that, you can see where you are, what you spent it on, and then you can say, okay, I can't keep doing that. I need to cut back on this. And then the following month, put that plan into action.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that month, you can look back and see how well you did.
You know what people struggle with? It's going to sound crazy. It's knowing how to pay bills. You're like, that's easy. Just write a check. No, that's not what I mean. It's the time frame of when to pay that bill. Yes, it's a due date. I get that. But how much money do you have in hand or on hand in order to pay that bill? Do you have enough? Because, you got that window opportunity when you get paid. What's due in that window? Do you have enough money? Are you paying all your mortgage at one time? Are you doing split payments? There are so many different ways to live the exact same amount of money every month, but it'll make it seem bigger based on how you utilize bill payment. You get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
No. So one of the ways is really your mortgage. You split that payment up, twice a month. Car payment, you do the exact same thing. But you got to figure out ways to not only to document, but to save that money each month and to put it towards something. This is one of the questions, when I'm talking about your budget and stuff, I always ask people when I'm talking about like different kind of plans, savings plans, 401k, 403b, TSP, all that stuff. And I say, how much are you saving for retirement? And like, they always say? What? When you hear the what, that really means zero.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're like, I max out. I was like, what does max out to you mean? If I ask you that question, what does max out to you mean?
I give the most that I can give.
Okay, let's say the company matches 5%. So I max out the 5%. That ain't the max amount.
Right.
The maximum amount is what the IRS says the most you can give in a year.
Right.
That's maxing out, y'all.
Right.
Somebody say, if your company say, we'll match up to 5%, you say, I'm maxing out up to 5%. But if you can give more, you can get more. I think this year amounts for anybody over 50, you can give back the total amount you can give is $30,000. Total for IRS for your original and then your makeup contribution. That's the max. $30,000, not 5% of your current paycheck. That's the max you are seeing as far as what you're giving, that you have to meet that amount. But the max is that higher number. Strive for that higher number.
Right.
$30,000 don't sink. It sank a lot, but when you're able to give that amount, imagine the back end payment. So that's always a trick question I always ask people. Are you maxing out? What's maxing out mean to you? Oh, they think about it differently. Oh, okay. So maybe, so you're giving 5%, let's say $300. You can give $500. You can give more. It's more than 5%. And then you inch it up a little bit at a time until you're able to give more towards that retirement plan. And eventually you may be able to max out that 401k to meet the IRS demand. That comes from documenting your stuff, documenting your bills, documenting your income, and seeing how well you can do it. Because if you're not capturing that, how in the world you can really capture what you're going to save for later? How? You can't.
Right. And don't think you can do all this in your head, because
no.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's just how we are. Out of sight, out of mind.
So let me ask you a question then. So, I like having a map in front of me for the calendar year. For the month. And I would say, hey, capture all your income and all your expenses, right? So what is not on your things that you can capture? You know what your income is, right? And you know what your bills are. So what on that sheet of paper is not captured? It's kind of like a backwards question. Everything but those two things.
Right.
You can capture all your income. You're like, oh man, I'm doing pretty good because my income is $4,000 a month. All my bills is only like $3,000. I got $1,000 to spend, and then you go and spend $1,000 on everything else. Really, you do.
Because you're not putting savings.
There you go.
Not on your account.
Because exactly right.
You didn't. That's not a cat. You're
exactly
not
right.
putting that as a category.
Exactly. Nor are you putting down restaurant. Nor are you putting down you're going to. You're not putting those things down. Fun money. So when you start adding those things up, that $1,000 becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's what gets people in trouble, is that they can make the ends meet when it comes to the required bills. It's the extra stuff that a lot of times to get people in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Instead of saving, they say, I got extra money, so they go spend it.
Mm-hmm. So they're allocating it to something. They allocate it. Well, they do allocate it to themselves.
Right.
Wrong allocation.
But
it's okay.
You're not paying yourself.
Right.
You're paying everyone else but yourself.
Right. So I see that a lot. When I get the form back, it looks good. I'm like, yeah, it does. Now write down everything else you've done that's not part of this on your bank statement, and then adding everything up. Just give me a total number, and you realize, I spent more than I bring in. There you go. Mm-hmm. It's not documented on a sheet of paper. Like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? When you bring that to reality, it starts to make sense, and you start to check yourself. You start to pump your brakes a lot faster. You do. You're like, man, I'm blowing it. Like, yeah. So I'm the type of person. I don't just go from 0 to 100. I do it in small increments. Okay, so you spent 1,000 last month. Let's just spend 800 this month. They're like, what? I just spent 800 this month. Put 200 away. Okay. All right. You did 800 this month. Okay, let's put 700 away. Okay. Because now it's in increments.
Mm-hmm.
next you know you're putting away $700 a month. You only spending $300 a month, and it becomes easy because you find yourself finding different things to do with your money versus just blowing it.
And
you become important. What it is, you make yourself important,
and you find out that I don't need all that. I don't want all of that because it's funny how we do that when we have the money in hand. So, you know how you out and you're like, oh, I want this, I want that, because you really don't have the money for it. But the minute you get the money, you're like, nah. Most people, nah, I don't want that. That's okay.
Because you see it.
Because you see the money.
You see the money in your hand. Also, you see it in your account too. Think about it.
It is addictive. When your money start growing, like he said, in increments, it becomes like, okay, I want to see more. I want to see more in my savings account. So, okay, let me see where else I can cut back without really hurting myself. Because don't cut yourself back to zero.
Don't work.
Because you're going to be miserable.
Mad.
And you're going to go back.
Pissed off.
Yeah. You're going right back to where you were.
I've seen it.
Because you don't feel like you're living your life.
Right. You got to enjoy.
Right.
That's why I do it very slowly. And by the time I get to that period where they are saving more often, they're like, oh my goodness, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I don't feel like doing this anymore or that anymore. I'm like, hey, you still got to live, you know?
Right.
You know, they're like, oh, I can go out to eat, or I can expand. And typically what I do, once I help someone pay off bills, I give them a little bit more of a stipend. So let's say I was giving you $90 every week. They pay off like a lot of bills, and now they have like $400 extra a month. I increase that stipend like not much, like $10, $15. They're like, whoa, I get $10 extra. And you'd be amazed at what the $10 extra will make someone feel. Because over time, that $10 becomes $40, over the month. So now you got $40 over the month. But you've just paid off $400 in bills. So yes, we do treat ourselves, but we're also putting that $400 into a little bit more into savings now. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of like, you're not back to your old ways, but you're putting a limit on what you are doing with the money and where's it going. So I do try to reward people once they hit a certain goal by saying, look, next month we're not gonna do all these things. We're gonna just treat ourselves. Let's treat ourselves. We're gonna go out to eat. Want to spend a little more on, you like shopping. You haven't done it in a while. You haven't done it like the way you want to. So treat yourself on that extra $100 because you got it this month. I see that you've done X, Y, and Z, but you're looking at those things. But you want to get out of hand. You like the next month you go back to doing your old ways because you got to take a break. That's what we do.
And you have to be disciplined.
We do that.
Yeah, we operate just like that.
We do that.
When we need to tighten it up, we tighten it up.
We do that.
And we're good with it. I'm good with it. And then when it's time to splurge, we splurge. But once the splurging is over, even if it's just $100, guess what? We tighten it back up.
Yeah. That's what I just explained is exactly what we do. We do the exact same thing. We we plan for the future. We know what we want to do for like Christmas, and we're looking at, hey, vacation, how many days we're going to take off? Okay, where we want to go? Okay. We already have a budget going towards those things, but we don't want to blow all that travel budget on one trip. You know what I'm saying? But like, let's go and do one big trip. So we try to do many trips, many as in small, like MINI, not MANY. We try to do both, actually, many trips. Both MINI, MANY. But it works because now you're getting that break every so often. Versus you're just doing one trip and then you blow $10,000 and you stuck for the next 11 months, you can't go nowhere. Small things, overnight weekend things, going 2 states over sometimes, driving, 50 miles or 120 miles, driving to the beach, it's the small things that give you a break in life. But you can't do any of those things unless you know your status.
Right.
You can't.
And this all is a mindset. A mindset. That's 90% of the battle is your mindset regarding this process. If you're in it and you want it bad enough, you will make that switch and you will make the adjustments. And you will figure it out where it balances out for you, where you're satisfied because you're able to do some things, but you're satisfied as well because you see your savings account growing. It's a delicate balance.
It is.
But you have to want it enough. No one can want it more than you. And it's a true mindset change. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking. And like I said, and I've always said this, you you are going to pay for it now, or you're going to pay for it later.
Like now, later.
However, you're going to pay for it. So you pay for it now, make the adjustments now, and tighten things up, and not so tight that you can't breathe, or you pay later where you're living a high life now, and later you have nothing. Absolutely.
If I could sing,
nothing.
I would sing that song when it was, you got nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
no, thank you. No, thank you.
See, I got nothing for y'all.
Yeah, no, thank you.
My mind was going all over the place. You talking about now? I'm thinking of candy. Now later's candy.
So I'm gonna bring it on back because he'll go off on a tangent. So this session was for you to track your expenses, track your income.
Track it.
For the next 30 days.
Track it.
See where you're spending your money, the
Right.
needs and the wants.
Yep.
Look at if you're saving anything.
Yep.
Then create a budget around that.
Yep.
Now that the podcast a couple of weeks ago was the 50-30-20 rule. Find a rule that fits for you. Is it how much of the percentage is your needs? How much percentage is your wants? How much is a percentage of your savings? Find that sweet balance for you that will work for you.
Yep.
Because everybody's situation is different.
Yep.
Everybody's situation is different. So we're not giving you anything specific because we don't know your personal situation. But this general information can get you thinking.
Right.
And then you can start researching. And you can start doing the homework and start putting a plan together. Because once you put your plan together, then our next podcast will be about executing that plan.
Which I thought was this one. So I was like, woo! This is my favorite subject. Execution.
You have to have the plan first. You can't just skip it.
Well, I thought we was going to put execution. So just so we can talk about that real quick.
He's so excited about that.
It says budget execution is the process of monitoring, adjusting, and reporting on the current year's budget. But we say current month's budget because we build a budget month to month. We build it from one month to another. So I just had to get that out, y'all, because I love the part of executing the budget. I love when everything comes, when you put the plan in place. Now, how we're going to take this information and use it to build something that works for you. Now, one thing I don't build a budget that works for me with your money. We got to build a budget for you that works for you with your money. And a lot of times, like my wife says, people become too aggressive. Mm-hmm. And then they suffer in 3 months and they fall off the log. So we try to make those small changes. And sometimes people working from a deficit. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, you have more expenses than you do income. That means somebody's going to have to figure a way to either get some more money so you can balance those books, because that is a hard way to live.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't come from student loans or car loans. Sometimes it doesn't come from that. Sometimes it just could be like, I just need more money.
Right.
It could be as simple as that. It may come from, I got all these different loans and bills and credit cards. That's different. Then you form a plan to get rid of some of those things.
Because life is going to happen to all of us.
Yeah, but
these are not. We're not talking about the expenses that we just creating for ourselves. Because sometimes we create stuff that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
But there's times that life happens. It just happens, and you're not in control of that.
Yeah.
So we're not beating people up about things that happen due to life.
Yep.
We're talking to people about creating more problems for yourself than you should be creating.
And sometimes it's not even you; it's problems someone created for you, which we do know about when it comes to business. Somebody created a problem for us. Sometimes it's not even that. So it's situations that sometimes you just can't avoid. What you can do is just work with it. One thing I always tell my kids: play the hand that you're dealt. And once you know what that hand is, you got a better way of dealing with it. It's the surprises, you don't know about those things, but you still want to have a plan in place to take care of those surprises too. What we're saying here, plan.
Right.
That's it.
Have the big picture. Right now, you don't know the big picture. I'm quite sure most people do not know the big picture.
That's it.
Some people don't want to know the big picture.
Well,
but in order to, it's like knowing that you're sick, but you don't go to the doctor to get that that diagnosis or the treatment to help you, because you don't want the diagnosis.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear it.
Because the minute you hear what happens,
it becomes reality. So this is a reality check. You have to know where you are. You have to write it down. You have to be strategize and be ready to create a plan so you can move forward. Because everybody don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. Everybody don't want to be struggling. That's no joke.
Well, that's
been there, done that.
One of my plans is paycheck to paycheck within the way I prescribe things.
Right. So. Right. So that's our spiel for today. So go back and listen to the other podcasts. And when I post this out on Podbean, I will list
other ones,
the other podcasts, the dates that they fell on. So you can go back and listen to step 1 through 4. And also our social media information will be out there. So you can tap into our social media sites and see some
share this information. Share it, like it. Okay, my bad. Cut you off.
See where you can read news articles, because I try to find news articles that relates to the topic we're discussing. I try to find graphic information, snapshots of this same information, and I try to do that throughout the week so it stays on the forefront of your mind until the next time we have a chance to talk to you. So yeah, it's a journey, and it's not an easy journey, but if you want it, you have to be prepared to endure and find that sweet balance for you and your family financially, and you'll feel better about it. You will feel rewarded once you have that balance and you can move forward in your finances. So that is it. So the next one, I know everyone's really excited. The next step and the final step is actually executing it. And that's what we will talk about next time. So Elroy, you want to give the social media handle?
I'm okay to go now? I'll cut you off. Give me that look. Okay, our podcast can be found in so many places. If you don't want to download these apps and stuff, you actually can go to our website, giftedgenerations-llc.com, and then click on podcast. You can just listen to it from your phone without going to the other places. We're also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. It is called Financeology 101. So our Twitter handle is @GiftedGen2019. My wife just started it up, so she's sending out certain tweets. Like and share those tweets, retweet those things, good information. On Facebook, we are Gifted Gen LLC. And on Instagram, we are gift.gen. And you also find us on YouTube. Like I said, it's called Gifted Generations LLC. YouTube, go out there and subscribe to us. Go out there and, share this information, because if you don't need it, maybe somebody else that do need it. It could be shared many times, and friends of friends. Look, it's information that we think is well worth. It's free. That we provide. And when you start getting in bad shape, you're going to start paying somebody to fix your problems.
Yeah, that's true.
So, hey, I'm just saying, it's a good way to take these things and use them and apply them. So, well, that's it for this week.
All right.
It's your boy, Elroy.
See you in a couple weeks for, I think 3 weeks for step 6. That's the final step.
Execution
of the plan. So
budget.
Have a wonderful rest of your week, and God bless.
Bye.
Well, thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Financeology 101. I hope you enjoyed this session, and the information provided will assist you on your financial journey. Until next time, be financially engaged.